It has become one of the region's fastest-growing economies, expanding at 5 to 6% per year. A young population, growing services sector, expanding construction industry, and a rapidly developing oil sector make Uganda a rising inland power. As Uganda prepares to enter the global oil market, its need for efficient logistics intensifies. Oil, industrial goods, agricultural exports, machinery, and fuel must move quickly and cheaply. Every day of delay costs millions. For a landlocked nation, the port that handles these goods defines its economic destiny. And this brings Uganda directly into conflict with Kenya. Uganda relies on Kenya's port of Mombasa for most of its imports and exports. But according to Ugandan officials and regional analysts, the system is deeply flawed. Common structural issues reported include slow cargo processing, overloaded terminals, lack of automation, unpredictable customs procedures, opaque fee structures, politically influenced port management, priority allegedly given to Kenyan cargo over transit cargo for Uganda. These issues translate into real costs, long dwell times, inconsistent transit schedules, loss of competitiveness, and dependency on a foreign state whose economic priorities differ from its own. Uganda has publicly stated that its economy is held hostage by inefficiencies outside its control. The challenges Uganda faces in Mombasa reflect a wider African pattern. Across the continent, most ports struggle with structural inefficiencies, limited capacity, high corruption exposure, weak digital infrastructure, fragmented customs agencies, and chronic congestion. Containers often sit for 10 to 15 days before clearance, compared to 2 to 3 days in Asia. Cross-border truck movement can take 12 to 48 hours, whereas in Europe, it takes less than 90 minutes. These structural gaps increase transportation costs dramatically, often doubling the price of importing goods compared to global averages. Landlocked states like Uganda bear the greatest burden. Uganda's frustration has grown over time. President Yoweri Museveni and his economic advisors now pursue strategic independence from Kenya. Several moves signal this shift. 1. Redirecting trade through Tanzania's Port of Dar es Salaam. 2. Developing pipeline projects that bypass Kenya. 3. Planning direct fuel import routes. 4. Announcing that Uganda will no longer rely exclusively on Mombasa. Tanzania's improving infrastructure makes it an attractive alternative. But the most surprising development came from another direction. Ethiopia. Uganda and Ethiopia recently signed a military cooperation agreement. Officially, it focuses on security and regional stability. Analysts, however, highlight the deeper message. Uganda is aligning itself with Ethiopia, a rising giant with strategic ambitions. Ethiopia is also pursuing new maritime access, exploring options in Eritrea, Somaliland, and Djibouti. A closer Uganda-Ethiopia relationship creates a new inland alliance, balancing Kenya's dominance over coastal trade. For Uganda, Ethiopia offers potential: diversified logistics routes, stronger regional bargaining power, a partner with significant political and military weight. For Ethiopia, Uganda provides influence in the Great Lakes region, deeper integration with East African markets, stronger political alliances at the African Union. The partnership shifts the regional balance. Kenya has long been East Africa's logistical gateway. Mombasa handles huge volumes of regional cargo, and Kenya earns billions in transit fees, port revenue, and transport services. If Uganda, which represents up to 40% of Mombasa's transit traffic, reorients its trade, Kenya's logistics dominance weakens dramatically. Consequences of Uganda's shift include reduced port revenue for Mombasa, lower utilization of the standard gauge railway, loss of influence over regional supply chains, growing competition from Tanzania, new inland alliances that bypass Kenya. Kenya perceives Uganda's actions as a threat to its strategic relevance. Uganda sees Kenya's system as a bottleneck. The situation escalates. The growing tensions reveal a regional realignment. Block 1, Kenya plus Tanzania, coastal states controlling maritime access, competing port expansion projects. Block 2, Uganda plus Ethiopia, inland powers seeking alternatives. Emerging military and economic partnership surrounding states shape the environment. Sudan's instability affects northern routes. Eritrea's positioning influences Ethiopia's access strategies. Somalia's fragmented political landscape impacts coastal logistics. This emerging division reshapes the trade architecture of East Africa. The Northern Corridor may no longer dominate. New alliances, new routes, and new power centers are emerging. Uganda has risen economically and politically, and it no longer accepts dependency on a single foreign-controlled corridor. Kenya faces the challenge of maintaining its logistical supremacy amid growing competition and strategic realignment. Ethiopia quietly benefits from the shift, strengthening its role as a regional pivot. This corridor conflict is not merely a transport issue, it is a restructuring of East Africa's economic and geopolitical landscape. Geopolitics made visual.